Welcome back, fellow adventurers, to another tale of Throne and DxD. This will be a bond chapter between Kiyo and a heroic spirit, Kiyohime. I'd like to welcome back
Amako 1988.
to this narration. So, let's begin this new adventure of Kiyo's daily life in the Throne of Heroes. While exploring the upper floors of Dead Man's Spire, Kiyo and Kiyohime are resting in the middle of a meadow. The boy laying on his head on the princess's lap. She hums a soothing melody as she strokes the boy's black hair while enjoying the tranquil moment. Something dashes within the grass, hiding its existence. Unbeknownst to them, a sinister presence lurks in the shadows of the meadow, its eyes fixed on the unsuspecting duo. As Kiyohime continues to hum her gentle strokes, lulling Kiyo into a peaceful slumber. The creature in the grass remains still, biding its time. With each passing moment, the tension in the air grew palpable. A sense of unease creeps over the tranquil scene. Suddenly, a swift and stealthy movement. The creature emerged from its hiding place, its form revealing that to be that of a canine, a wolf to be exact. It had gray fur, yellow eyes, sharp fangs, and it was twice the size of Kiyo's small frame. The beast went for the attack, leaping in the air with savage killing intent, its jaws gaping wide to sink into its prey. A sudden burst of flames erupted from the ground. A serpentine figure made of fire coiled around the wolf, ensnaring in its fiery embrace. The wolf thrashed and struggled against the searing heat, its ferocious growl drowned out by the crackling flames. Kiyohime's eyes blazed with rage as she turned her attention to the trapped beast. With a terrifying calmness, she raised her hand and placed her fingers to her lips, a silent command for the wolf to remain quiet. In the next moment, with a flick of her wrist, she unleashed a surge of flame that propelled the wolf skyward, sending it hurtling through the air like a fiery comet. The wolf's agonizing howl echoed through the meadow as it soared higher and higher until, finally, an explosion. It erupted with a burst of flames, consumed by the intense heat of Kiyohime's wrath. She turned her attention back to Kiyo, slumbering without a care in the world. Fu, Akin-sama. You're so cute when you're sleeping so peacefully. You have grown so much since that day, Kiyohime murmured to herself, her tone a mixture of amusement and affection. As she continued to stroke his hair, Kiyohime's thoughts drifted back to the day they first met. Back when Kiyo was but a young boy, undergoing rigorous training under Lord Leonidas, King of Sparta.
Pick up the pace, kid. You're almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4. The man with bulging muscles and copper-like skin said with a thunderous roar. He awaits for a younger Kiyo, strapped from head to toe with weights. Despite his exhaustion, Kyo knew better than to disobey his mentor's commands. With a determined grunt, he forced himself to pick up the pace, each step bringing him closer to his physical limits. Finally, the workout came to an end, leaving Kyo gasping for breath and covered in sweat. He staggered over to where the man stood, his body feeling like a lead from the weights. Kyo finally reached the designated spot, a cliff that overlooked the dense forest below. He collapsed to his knees, his chest heaving with exertion. As the kid caught his breath, the master approached him, his expression unreadable behind his golden helmet. Well done, my apprentice. Can you feel the burn of that 500-kilometer run? Hear the cries of your new muscles forming. This is the way of Sparta. No, this is Sparta! Still trying to catch his breath, Kyo hardly able to speak. I feel sick. Lord Leonidas, with a hearty laugh. That only means you need more training, kid. The king stands at the edge of the cliff, pondering. He turns back to Kyo, helmet in his arms, a serious expression. Have you heard of how the lions test your curve strength, boy? Trying to recover his hearing. No, but what does that have to do with this? Leonidas approached him, his imposing figure casting a shadow over the young boy. With a firm grip, the Spartan king lifted Kyo by the neck of his shirt, his intense gaze locked onto the forest. Listen well, Leonidas began, his voice commanding respect. In the wild, lions test the strength of their cubs by tossing them off a cliff. Only the strongest survive the fall and emerge victorious. Kyo's expression widened in shock at the revelation, his mind racing with uncertainty and fear. He had to come to the king of Sparta seeking training, but he had not expected such a brutal trial of strength. Survival of the fittest. Leonidas continued, his tone grave. It is a harsh lesson, but one that separates the weak from the strong. The first law of the world. Are you okay? With a mighty heave, Leonidas threw Kyo off a cliff, sending him hurtling through the air towards the forest below. Meet me on the other side of the forest, Leonidas roared, as Kyo plummeted through the air, his sense overwhelmed by the rush of wind and the sheer terror of the fall. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna throw up, and then I'm gonna die. Dreaded thoughts run through the kid's mind. Kyo plummeted from the sky, his body colliding with the branches of the trees below. With a thud, he was thrown off course, his momentum carrying him into a spiral. Limbs flailed as he stumbled, unable to regain control. Finally, his descent culminated as he crashed into the frigid waters of the rivers below, swallowed by its dark embrace. The river carried the boy's unconscious body to the unknown. Meanwhile, back at the cliff, Leonidas continues his watch over the forest. He'll be fine. Children trained in the way of Sparta are strong. A sensation runs along his neck. Don't even think about it, dragon. The warrior king turns to face Ophis. Energy cracked all around her, her body poised to dive straight off the cliff. Sparta king, give me one good reason why I shouldn't turn you into the void dust this instant. Walking right past her. This is the truth, Kyo's training. If he can overcome this, then becoming a warrior is not meant to be. Besides, you won't always be there to protect him. This is another lesson you both need to learn.
Ophis, impassive, with a hint of annoyance, took one step forward. Don't you have any faith in him? The king bellowed. Leonidas's words echoed through the clearing. His voice carries the weight that seems to reverberate through the very air around them. Ophis, her gaze fixed on the horizon, remained silent for a moment, her thoughts unreadable as she processed his words. He takes a step closer to Ophis, his gaze piercing. You brought him here to be trained by us, to become stronger. If you disagree with our methods, then take him back and never return. Ophis's expression softened slightly at Leonidas' words. A flicker of uncertainty crosses her feature. She takes a step back, her energy subsiding, as she considers his words. Very well, she concedes. Her voice softens. But know this, Sparta King. If anything happens to him, you will answer to me. With a grand smile, I'll take full responsibility. They both left the cliffside, unknown to Kiyo's unexpected detour. In an old Japanese-style mansion slash castle, Kiyo found himself in a futon. Getting up, he felt pain coursing throughout his body, searing every nerve, muscles twisting and contorting with merciless intensity. As he struggles to sit up, Kiyo was startled by the sound of the sliding doors opening, revealing a black-haired girl wearing a white top, purple skirt, and a pink hoodie standing in the doorway. Her expression softened with concern as they looked at the sight of Kiyo's battered body. Are you all right, kid? You were floating down the river until I pulled you out, she said after helping him up. Thank you, big sis. Kiyo begins to tell the young lady about his training with Lord Leonidas. How dare that miserable, muzzle-headed, jockstrap do that to a Bishonen, yeeting a child off a cliff, like he's part of the Misha Zaibatsu. Unforgivable, she yells out, cursing a man that she never met. Kiyo couldn't help but to chuckle at the colorful choice of words, finding solace in her unique spirit. Despite the pain, he felt a sense of friendship with the stranger who had come to his aid. Over the next few hours, Kiyo found himself in the company of the black-haired girl whose name he learned was Osaka Hime. She tells him about herself, how she was described as a yokai inhabiting Himeji Castle, her love for the arts and stories, both of them enjoying the time they had with each other. Until, Osaka Hime, have you finished your transcript? A voice calls out to her. Ice ran down the girl's back, terrified of the one who owns that voice. She scatters around her castle, trying to get things in order, but it dawns on her. The special guest she has is in danger. You must hide. The person that's coming is extremely dangerous. She takes Kiyo and places him in her closet. No matter what, do not come out of this closet under any circumstances. Kiyo nods his head vigorously. Footsteps could be heard coming closer. The paper doors open.
A green-haired girl appeared with two horns protruding from the side of her head and wearing an elegant green kimono. Osaka Behemoth, have you finished your transcript? She inquired, her voice calm yet touched with terror. Osaka Behemoth forced a smile, attempting to mask her unease. Yes, Kiyohime, it's nearly complete, she replied, her voice betraying a hint of nervousness. As they discussed the transcript, Osaka Behemoth couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the air. Kiyohime seemed to notice her friend's discomfort, her gaze sharpening as she questioned, Osaka Behemoth's behavior. Is something troubling you, Osaka Behemoth? She asked, her tone gentle yet reproving. You seem on edge. Osaka Behemoth hesitated for a moment, unsure how to respond. Before she could gather her thoughts, Kiyohime's keen ears caught the sound of something amiss. A subtle breathing and heartbeat from the closet where Kiyo's was hiding. With a sinking feeling in her stomach, Osaka Behemoth watched in horror as Kiyohime approached the closet, her movements purposely yet unnerving calm. In an instant she flung the door, revealing Kiyo standing there. As Kiyohime flung open the closet door, revealing Kyo standing there, her body began to tremble with excitement. Without a moment's hesitation, she rushed forward and enveloped him in a tight embrace, her voice trembling with emotions as she exclaimed, "Ah, Anchi-sama, you finally returned!" Kyo, taken aback by the sudden outburst, could only muster confused, "What?" As Kiyohime continued to hug and caress him with unabashed enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Osaka Hime buried her face in her hands, knowing all too well where this was headed. "Anshin-sama," Kiyohime began, her eyes sparkling with fervor, "I've been waiting for you for so long. We have so much to discuss our future together. Our wedding." Kyo's face widened in disbelief as he tried to comprehend the situation. "Wedding plans? What are you talking about, miss?" he interjected, attempting to free himself from her grasp. "Anshin-sama? What are you talking about?" he asked, his voice tinged with a mixture of concern and bewilderment. But Kiyohime paid no heed to his questions, her delusions taking a hold as she began to rumble about weddings and their future together. "Oh, Anshin-sama, we should be or should have the most magnificent wedding ceremony. The cherry blossoms will bloom in celebration of our love, and we shall be together forever." She gushed, her eyes sparkling with fervent devotion. "I'm sorry, miss, but I'm not this Anshin-sama. I'm—" Kyo stopped mid-sentence. He felt intense sorrow deriving from the young lady. "Oh my, Anshin-sama, you shouldn't lie like that." She began to laugh eerily. Kyo broke into a cold sweat, unable to move a single muscle. Kiyohime continues to run her hands around Kyo's body, heating coming off of them. Osaka Behime reacted quickly, turning herself into a cauldron of bats, flying around the room, distracting Kiyohime. She summoned an organic horse to haul Kyo out of the castle. Enraged, Kiyohime burst into flames. Her fury knew no bounds. With surge of flames, she pursued them relentlessly, her wrath fueling her pursuit. "How dare you take my beloved? You skank! Get back here!" she roared. Her voice echoed through the sky. The chase led them through the entirety of the throne. Kiyohime's flames flicked at their heels as they raced for safety. Just as they thought they might escape her wrath, they were intercepted by a figure looming overhead, a towering woman riding a feather-winged creature and emits a radiant aura.
She is a tall, blonde woman, wearing clothes from Aztec era. A plume on her head with a lot of orange and green feathers. She lands in front of him, causing the horse to collide, launching both Kyo and Osaka Behime into the air. Both of them were caught by the mysterious woman.
Oye, oye, ¿dónde está el fuego?
Hey, hey, where's the fire? She placed Osaka Behime down and set her sights on Kyo. Sparks of joy filled her eyes.
Oh, Dios mío, ¿quién es esta monada aquí? ¿No estás herido, verdad?
Oh my me! Who is this little cutie here? You're not hurt, are you? Kyo, still dazed from the chaotic event unfolding around him, could only tilt his head in confusion as the blonde woman cuddled him affectionately. Oh crap! This is bad. This is very, very bad. We got her attention. The goddess of the sun, Quetzalcoatl. Osaka Behime mumbled to herself as she gets up from the ground. As she continues to snuggle him, Kyo's day snapped out of it. Sorry, miss. I don't know what you're saying. Hearing his plight, Quetzalcoatl stopped hugging him and pulled back slightly. A smile crossed her features. Oh, my apologies. I forgot not everyone speaks my native language, she said. I just got a little too excited. Her voice was warm and melodious. You're not hurt. Did the fall injure you? Kyo shook his head, still trying to process everything that happened. No, I'm fine. Thank you for catching us, he replied, offering a polite smile despite his lingering bewilderment. As they continued to talk, exchanging pleasantries and introductions, a sudden impact shook the air, and a fireball struck Quetzalcoatl squarely in the back of her head. A beast in human form inches closer. So, this was your goal, giving my beloved to this hussy. I won't forgive you, she roared. My, what a passionate little snake we have here, Quetzalcoatl states, while she hands Kyo to Osaka Behime. The goddess walks towards the young lady, cracking her knuckles. Seems to me you were tormenting this child for a while now. Someone needs to teach you a lesson. A wicked grin etched on her lips. Torment? I was just trying to get my husband back from the thieving back. We have a wedding to attend to. Quetzalcoatl gave a confused look, looking at Kyo and then looking back at Kiyohime, like she was looking at something bizarre with this child. Isn't it way too early for him to be married? Kiyohime, lost in her delusions about Kyo being Anchin-sama, paid little heed to Quetzalcoatl's words. Her obsession clouded her judgment. It doesn't matter. Achin-sama and I are destined to be together, no matter what anyone says, she declares fervently, her eyes burning with fervent determination.
Quetzalcoatl sighed, shaking her head in exasperation. Very well then, if that's how you want it, she said, resigned to the inevitable confrontation. With a graceful movement, she positioned herself for battle, her gaze steady and unwavering. As the two women clashed, the air crackled with energy, their powers colliding in a dazzling display of light and force. Quetzalcoatl proved to be the superior combatant, her skill and experience giving her the upper hand against Kiyohime's relentless but graceful attack. With a swift maneuvering, Quetzalcoatl pinned Kiyohime to the ground, her strength and determination evident in every movement. It's over. You need to let go of this delusion and accept reality, she said firmly, her voice carrying a note of sympathy beneath its authoritative tone. Kiyohime, unable to process anything, starts to cry. Tears ran down her cheeks. Why? Why? All I want is to be with Anshin-sama. Feeling Kiyohime's sorrow and desperation, Kyo's heart went out to her. Despite the chaos and confusion surrounding them, he felt a sense of compassion and empathy for the delusion princess pinned beneath Quetzalcoatl's grasp. As Quetzalcoatl slowly loosens her grip, Kyo approached Kiyohime, kneeling beside her with a gentle expression. Miss Kiyohime, he said softly, his voice carrying a soothing warmth. I understand that you are hurting, and I know how much you long to be with your Anshin-sama, but I need you to listen to me. Kiyohime's tear-streaked face turned towards Kyo, her eyes wide with desperation and longing. Anshin-sama, it's not me. Kyo continued, his tone gentle but firm. I can't be the person you're searching for, but I can be your friend. The goddess released her grip, lifting the girl back to her feet, but still on guard. Hearing the boy's words have somehow shaken the girl to her core. The image of a faceless monk only she herself can see becomes translucent, leaving an outline of a young man and a child. Overlapping, she wiped away her tears and smiled. Yes, Anshin-sama, we will start over as friends, and when you're ready, we will be married. Osaka Behime and Quetzalcoatl face-palmed themselves on how nothing changed with the stubborn girl. But Kyo thinks otherwise. Back at the entrance of the forest, Opus and Leonidas wait patiently for Kyo's return. Suddenly, wind blows around them as Kyo descends from the sky, accompanied by Quetzalcoatl. Osaka Behime and Kiyohime riding on the winged serpent. Opus made all a small sign of relief. She rushed forward to greet Kyo, her arms enveloping him in a tight embrace. Still ever emotionless, Kiyohime elicited a hiss of displeasure, but before she could escalate the situation, Opus intervened with a demonic glance. She silenced Kiyohime, asserting her authority in a moment. Kiyohime, hiding behind the sun goddess. You did well, Kyo. Not only did you survive, but you also made comrades on the way. You did well. Now your real training begins. Leonidas said with pride. Yes, Lord Leonidas, but no more throwing me off a cliff, Kyo replied. We'll see about that, the king said with a wicked grin. Flashback ends. Wake up, Kiyohime, A voice calls out to her. The princess opens her eyes. She sees Kyo stretching after his long nap. Are you ready to go after the floor, boss, Kiyohime? She prepared herself to go off with Kyo out of the dungeon. Yes, Kyo-sama, I'm ready. Surprised by her, Kyo smiled and grabbed her hand, following the light of the souls.
Extra chapter. Extra part. Back at Hajiman Castle, Osaka Hime laying on the floor, bored out of her mind. What am I supposed to do? I can't write anything. This sucks. Writer block sucks. What to do? Osaka Hime, are you there? A small voice calls out to her. She rushed out of her castle. Kyo, it's been a while. Kyo stands in front of her, carrying 2 bags. I bought you something. Huh? She pulls out a book. What are these? They're mangas. I brought them from my world. As Osaka Hime looks through the books, she was bewildered by the art and the stories. Come on in then. I'll read them to you. Chapter ends. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. Well, the next chapter will be an interlude, and then we'll finally get into chapter 3, the beginning of Highschool DxD's storyline. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, hit that like button, and share with others. Thank you, and see you next time.